right, so it looks like Andrew Tate decided to go after Greta Thunberg. That's pretty random, isn't it? So he sends out a tweet saying, "Hello, Greta Thunberg. I have 33 cars. My Bugatti has a W16 8.0 liter quad turbo. My two Ferrari 812 Competizione have 6.5 liters V12s. This is just the start. Please provide your email address so I can send a complete list of my car collection and their respective enormous emissions." Now, Greta Thunberg is, of course, a climate activist who, by the way, also happens to be 19 years old, so right in Andrew Tate's age range, obviously. And I think that there's a little bit more than just his car collection that he wants to send her by asking for her email address. And here's a picture of him. So Andrew Tate is obviously a really, really big loser. And it's like, this kind of thing is just so embarrassing because it's like, what are you flexing here? This is so bizarre, right? It's like so random, out of the blue. I don't think there was any kind of like pre-anything to this. And he's just out here just flexing like cars that are destroying the climate as like a flex. People, like most people are not like, oh, the vast majority of the population that drives gas cars, they're not like, oh, flexing that they're driving gas guzzlers. It's just like the only option, the only affordable, realistic option under the given current economic conditions. But he's like, no, flexing, like, yeah, I'm ruining the environment, as if that's like a cool thing. Or even that having Ferraris are a cool thing. None of this stuff is valuable. None of this stuff makes you an alpha male. This kind of stuff means you have a micro penis. Because what man, or anybody for that matter, or woman, whatever, needs to have a Ferrari or this big image of having a lot of money in order to be secure in yourself as a man? The only reason you would have to have this is if you are overcompensating for something. So I think Andrew Tate, I saw a video where he was a huge loser back then too when he was younger, like a gigantic loser. And so I think he's overcompensating now for his losership when he was younger. But there's no value in this. This is not some kind of alpha male energy or any of that stuff. This is actually the opposite of being an alpha male, because being an alpha male is being secure in yourself and respecting yourself and being honest and genuine and ethical. This is like, oh, let me just give in to like all this BS and let me try to like right this ship essentially. But Greta decides to respond, says, "Yes, please do enlighten me. Email me at smalldickenergy@getalife.com." So this is actually something you would think, and everybody's just going crazy. 1.6 million likes to like Andrew Tate's like 152,000 likes. And so you can just see that, she just completely murdered him. Now you might think, oh, well, this is, it's a funny little thing, but it's not really like substantive. But actually works in a dual sense, right? Not only is it like a name calling thing that's just like a good kind of burn, like a general kind of burn, it's actually also very substantive too. Because first of all, calling it small dick energy, that's very substantive, because this is small dick energy. This right here tells me that you are overcompensating for something. You have a very, very tiny penis. Something is, you don't feel like a man. Something is wrong with you. It's like kind of like, I'm starting to notice this. People on the extremes, they're always overcompensating for something, because sort of the default position is somewhere neutrality, right? You're not going to be predisposed towards any extreme on either direction. So like Kanye West, for example, right? Like he's super religious because he has like this crazy porn addiction. And so you just see like these kinds of people where it's like, where does this extremeness come from? And it's almost always, even like you can look at like comedians and stuff. Like I was watching a Michael Blackson interview with Shannon Sharp, and he's saying like, yeah, he really became a comedian because he was bullied when he was younger, and so now he's basically clapping back at people from him being bullied. And you see the funniest people like Will Smith talking about how he used it as like protection, humor as like protection, that kind of thing. And so it's like, people like this is not valuable to anybody. This does not make you a man. It doesn't make you a high value person. Doesn't make you somebody that is really wanted by society or any of that kind of stuff. And so I would say the biggest danger of all that someone like Andrew Tate really is bringing is that he's sort of trying to, I'm not saying like redefining, because this is kind of already the values, I guess, of society right now, but society in its way is essentially very, very materialistic and fake, right? And that doesn't mean that, you can be in favor of just like having stuff without like being super overly materialistic. Having a Ferrari, for example, or like 33 cars. Having a bunch of cars. He says, I have 33 cars. Having 33 cars is not a flex. Having a Ferrari is not a flex. That's not a value. A flex is like, wow, I contributed research to this field that develops our understanding. Oh, I just volunteered hours here, or I work as a nurse or a doctor, or I went to the gym today, so I'm promoting my health, or that kind of thing, right? I ate healthy today. Those are flexes, right? I ate vegetables today. I had a healthy day. Like, I learned this. I learned another language. Those are flexes. Those are flexes. Not I have a car. Not only does this not represent anything positive or good, it's actually negative, because it's like this fakeness, this hollowness of money, which again, you can you can have money, like a decent, upper middle class living or whatever, or even be rich for that matter, right? Like in the 1%. You have to make like 400 G's a year to be in the 1%. You could do that and still not be like this. And as a society, we should not be valuing this. And I'm even seeing this in the media space, where essentially everything is all about numbers instead of, wow, that person made really substantive, great quality content. You never hear that now. Now it's like, oh, this guy got this many views. He has this many subscribers, this many likes. Oh, this person watched their video. It's never like, man, look at the amazing content he did. Look at this great investigative journalism they did. And so we're starting to get to a point where society only values the most sort of like non-valuable things, like numbers, clicks, money. This is how much money this person made. It's like, it's crazy. It's like you're giving value to somebody based on how much money they have, or their looks and things like that, which even their looks is like, at least that's that's more like, oh, if potentially that could mean that, hey, it could mean that, hey, you're putting in work into your looks by eating a healthy diet and working out, which even that, there's a lot of value in that, right? Now you can get to a point where that becomes hollow too, if you're like doing a bunch of just stuff just for the sole purpose of like cosmetics and stuff like that, right? But there's even a way for that. This is not valuable to society, and it is dangerous to teach men that this is the valuable thing. This is not valuable. Bragging about destroying the climate, that is not something that's valuable. Doing what you can to preserve the climate is something that's actually valuable, right? That actually makes you a man and makes you valuable to society. And so we need to basically rewire this kind of thing. And honestly, what I think is Andrew Tate is serving a demand that exists amongst like this like white male population, although it seems to kind of low-key be like bleeding into even other groups of men as well. And so it's dangerous to essentially say, let's get rid of Andrew Tate and then not fill it with something, right? What you need to do is you need to have other people who are basically making actual good guidance content in terms of actually, teaching men what is actually good. And so we need people in that space who are actually going to guide men in the proper direction, as opposed to this Andrew Tate direction. Instead of just canceling Andrew Tate and then kind of leaving it at that, and just kind of ignoring like the general like straight white male population, you have to curate content that's actually going to gear them in the right direction. Otherwise, they're going to fall into the hands of an Andrew Tate. And so this is also getalife.com. Obviously, that's also very substantive too, because like, where the fuck did this tweet even come from? This is just so random. I don't believe there was any kind of like prior to this, not really prior provocation or anything like that. And he's asking her, and again, I don't think it's just the car collection. I don't think just the car collection is the reason why he's asking Greta for her email address. So to be quite frank with you, we know that that's right down his alleyway. And so it's good to see him just get clapped. And again, Andrew Tate is not a man. He's a loser. He's the least like man person, like period, in the game. No real man flexes having 33 cars or destroying the climate. That means you're overcompensating for something. And again, I think he was a massive loser previously, and so now he's trying to overcompensate for that losership. And so, that's I guess what's going on here. But this is not valuable to society. This is not what it means to be a man. None of this is good in any way, shape, or form. This is not substantive. You want to be valuable, go work out, go for a run, cook some healthy food, learn another language, like put some work into your craft, whether it's, whatever you're into, marketing or, science, whatever it is, those are valuable things. Forge actual solid social relationships with friends, your spouse, your family. Those are things that are actually valuable and worth it to society. Give, volunteer, etc. Those kinds of things.